Well, good evening, my friends. Kevin the Comic Doctor coming to you with another live CGC unboxing and a discussion about Comic Cons. And are they really for comic book collectors anymore? We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Guys, I'm Kevin the Comic Doctor. I'm a comic book presser. I'm also an authorized CGC dealer located way up in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. And this is my weekly show and tell. I don't know why the stream keeps starting automatically. It's not supposed to. And I have not got my overhead cam set up yet. Oh, no, I do have my overhead cam. I just don't have my chat window set up yet. So let me get that set up really quick so I can see what you guys are saying. Give me 1 sec to do this. Again, the silly stream just started automatically, which is quite frustrating, actually. Okay, where's pop-out chat? There it is right there. All I got to do is move her over here. This shouldn't take very long. Here we go. All right. Guys, one box to share with you, a combination of magazines and comic books. So welcome. If you're new here, my friends, we talk about comic books. We talk about everything to do with comic books. Comic book collecting, CGC grading, pressing, cleaning, restoration, conservation, movies, TV, you name it. We talk about it here. It's really whatever you want to talk about. And in order to do so, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and you can take part in our live chat, which is happening right now. And if you have questions for me, the Comic Doctor, I'm happy to answer any questions free of charge for you. Okay, let's get started. Let's start with some comics first. Then we'll get talking about the whole Comic Con thing. Because after this last weekend, yeah, I have a little bit to say. All right. First off, we have a book that belongs to Brian. And Brian wanted me to pre-screen this book, and I didn't. I just sent it in, and he was quite concerned. Kevin, what if it doesn't come back in 9.8? What are we going to do? What on earth are we going to do? Well, don't worry, Brian. You've got your 9.8 white pager. There you go. It was a Todd McFarlane pre-signed book, so we had JSA authenticated. We also have an 8.5 copy of Giant Size X-Men #1. We got a couple. Oh, wow. Look at this coming up. I just saw something. Wow. We have a Hulk 181 missing the Marvel value stamp, so we get a green label. And I think there's another one in there that also is missing a Marvel stamp, but 7.5. Check this one out, guys. 9.8 white pager from 1976 anniversary issue. Incredible Hulk 200. Wowza. And a 9.8. We also have a Joker, copy of the Joker. 9.6 white pager. Yeah, okay. And it's a 9.6 and a 9 right there. 1975. We have a Daredevil number 217, Barry Windsor Smith authenticated in a 9.2. And then we have a Batman number 608, Jim Lee authenticated. Wow, this came back fast. This is the one I think it is right there. And now our stack is really high. Here are the submission forms. I'm going to pack these guys back up, go over to the chat room and see who is with us today. All right, who do we have? Oh, looks like John Sherwood was the first one in the house. Where is my chat? There it is. Hello, John. How you doing? I'm going to sneeze, guys. Hold on. Ooh, sorry about that. Hit the pause so as not to blow out your eardrums or your speakers. Sam's here. Hey, everyone. I finally can catch a live show from the beginning. Great. Glad you're here, Sam. Good to see you. Eric McGowan's here. How you doing, Eric? Dave. Hey, Dave. Long time no talk. Dave, I did an invoice for Dave, and Dave submitted some books a couple of months back or a few months back with a buddy of his. And what I did is I combined their invoices, and he wanted me to separate them, which I can do. And I sent out the invoices, what, a week and a half ago? I have not had a chance to get on this computer to do that. So that's how busy this old man is. I spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Hamilton. We'll talk a bit about that in just a few moments. And that killed a lot of my weekend. In fact, it killed my whole entire weekend. So it put me behind another 3 days. Yeah, I have a whole stack of invoices here, about 2.5 weeks behind on this invoices. And I've got a slew of books that got to go to CGC. I have a slew of books at CGC. Guys, I'm going to be hit hard with a whole bunch of books coming back. So expect a whole bunch of CGC unboxings over the next several weeks because, yeah, we got tons and tons over there right now. Dave Adams here. How you doing, Adam? Good to see you. PhD and Noob, been a while. Happy second Monday, y'all. How you doing? All right. Where's the bag? Oh, there it is, right there. Let's see what else we got here. All right. How many people are watching right now? 38 or so? 47. Great. Guys, wouldn't mind hitting that like button as well? That'd be fantastic. It does help with my analytics. Okay. Next we have, and this, I'm going to talk a bit about this as well. I got some things to talk about today, aside from the comic book cons and all that. And I'll talk with you in a second. Here we got a House of Secrets 92. Saw that on my thumbnail in a 3.5. We have an Amazing Spider-Man 300 and a 7.5. Yeah, that's a pretty lower grade one there. But gee whiz. Yeah, they did a number on this book, man. I mean, it's a 7.5, and I get it, but gee, gosh, like it's not banana, but it just doesn't look as nice as it should in the slab, in my opinion, anyway. We have another Hulkwood 81. This one also is missing the Marvel value stamp. This is a 4.0 qualified, right there. What else we have here? We have an 8.5. Got an 8.5 copy of Amazing Spider-Man 129. Nice copy of the first appearance of the Punisher. The Bronze Age Grail right there, and an 8.5. Come on, get in there. Get in there, you. All right. Got a 9.2 copy of Transformers number 8. This one here, I think, is it a mechanical error? I'm not sure. Anyways, right there, Dinobot appearance. No, that's not a mechanical error. And oh, another ASM 300. Someone was asking me what the most popular book this year is. I think it's ASM 300. This one looks a lot better in the slab. And this one is a 9.4. Right there. All right, what else we have? Let's go back to the chat really quick. Anybody else talking up a storm here? Let's see. Oh, we got a bunch of people here. GTA lady, how's it going? Good to see you. Cheers back to you. Trevor, how are you, my friend? RP, wow, how's it going, RP? Hey, Doc, when will you be doing the Comic Link Day again? Yes, I'll talk a bit about that. Might as well talk about it right now. Comic Link. Me and Matt were talking about when he can come back down. We're going to do kind of an extravaganza on October the 19th. On October the put that in your calendars right now. October the 19th, the Comic Doctor's office will be open from like 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Comic Link will be there from 12 p.m., I think he said, till 4 p.m., only for 4 hours. He's getting off an airplane and coming straight to the shop. Charlo and the Comic Loft will have a sale upstairs. I'll have sales throughout my shop as well, too. I'm trying. Time is so much time, right? I'm trying to get the shop restocked. I actually just picked up for all you Star Wars crazy people out there, I just picked up a brand new collection of loose and carded Star Wars toys. So those will be on for sale. And I've got tons of comics. It's a matter of getting the darn things out on the shelf for you all. But yeah, we're going to have a little sale. Probably have a pressing sale as well. So if you've got books you want to have pressed and cleaned, that's probably a great day to build up your order for. I'll have some kind of discounts, I'm sure. Again, October the 19th. And you know what? There'll probably be a few more opportunities for coming into the shops on special occasions. I'm working on bringing some artists into the shop as well to do signature series signings. More on that later. Yeah, more on that later. And what else can I tell you? Oh, I don't know. I'll tell you in a bit. Let's just keep going here. Let's just get these guys done. Kaylin Kennedy, hey man, how you been? Not bad. Thanks for asking. How you been? How you been, Kaylin? Hey, Dan, how are you? Adam says, that looks suspiciously like my Batman 608. It could very well be. It could very well be. Josh, how are you? Not bad. Thanks for asking. Sean Conley, good evening to you, Sean. Good to see you. Dennis, I have some thoughts about Canadian Comic Cons myself. Well, what I'm going to talk about is all Comic Cons. All right, what do we have here? We got a couple of restored books. All right, so let's have a look. First, we have an Amazing Spider-Man 16. It says there's a small amount of color touch on cover. I think I see it. I think the owner was aware of this, but still wanted it to be sent in, if I remember correctly. And then we have a 6.0 Marvel Spotlight number 5. And this one has glue on cover. Hence they gave it a conserved label. Got a really nice Werewolf by Night 32 and a 6.5. First appearance of Moon Knight. Still a damn cool book to have. Here's a book I'm still looking for. I still haven't picked one of these up yet. Tales of Suspense 52. First appearance of the Black Widow. And a 5.0. A Daredevil number 2. I have my own copy of this I'm working on right now. And a 6.5. Very pretty. And a 4.5 copy. I think these belong to... Yeah, I think I know who these belong to. Avengers number 4. First Silver Age Captain America. And a 4.5. Really nice. Really, really nice right there. Pretty, pretty. Okay. All I got left are some magazines. Let me clear these guys up and we'll get to them. Hey, doing, Luke? Good to see you. Who is your favorite comic super? Josh W. asks me who my favorite comic superhero is. I think my favorite comics, I think I've said it before, it's probably, you know, some of the big ones like Spider-Man. I love the Hulk. Always had a soft spot for the Hulk. Always a soft spot for Spider-Man. And over at DC, it's the Man of Steel himself, Superman. You know, Batman's probably a close second, but those are probably my 4 favorites. Nothing too original there, right? Pretty straightforward, I'm afraid. Johnny Swagger, 1971. Cheers, Kevin. John from Kingston. Hey, John, how's it going? Hope school's going well for you. Are midterms here yet? I don't know. Soon, I hope soon. Hey, Bad Hombre, how are you? I usually have at least one vendor to see at each comic or pop culture con. Then I can quickly look through other vendors, and by quickly seeing some prices, you can tell how their pricing is. Yeah, usually you can. You can usually tell pretty quickly if someone's out to lunch or if they're giving out some good deals. Eric Williams is here. How you doing, Eric? Not too late at all. Hey, you're picking up comics, man. There's a great excuse. It's a great excuse. Derek Neiman, how are you, my friend? John Turchi's here. How you doing? The Real Hyperion is here. Are you going to... No, I am not. I will not be at the Toronto Comic Book Show this weekend. I thought I was initially, but Rob, the promoter or the organizer, did not put a table aside for me. So I will not be there. But that worked out in the end because the comic doctor is going to a wedding on Saturday and has a family event on Sunday. So it kind of worked out. So if you, I don't think I'll be doing any more shows actually until the new year. So if you have books for me, your best bet is to either do a submission form online and then mail the books to me. And again, remember, if you're submitting 10 or more books to me, I will pay to cover your shipping to me. So I'll send you a shipping label, and then you can send the books to me at your leisure, and I will cover the shipping to get your books to me, again, for 10 books or more. Or just come by the shop. If you're local to the GTA, Markham, you know, Vaughan, even as far as, I got guys coming in from Kingston. Talk to John here. He's coming to me from Kingston and Montreal. I got guys driving in from all over the place. So come on and see me on a Saturday morning. I'd be happy to greet you at the shop. Yeah, so there it is. Are you okay? So I'm asked again about that. Please point me the color touching vendor. Oh, I could talk to you about that later. Calvin Kennedy, how you? Oh, there you go. Hey, Mech 15, how you doing? Louis Mendoza's here. Yo, what's up to you too, Louis? Good to see you. Okay, a few more, and then we will get to the conversation at hand here. Let me pull them out. We have Magazine Moderns. We've got a nice TMNT number 3 and a 9.6 white page. Nothing wrong with that. Why is it not showing up? Okay, this is really weird. Why is it not showing up? Okay, I gotta do it like this, guys. Sorry, it's not showing up. That is really strange. Why is my overhead cam not working? I'm gonna try to fix it really quick for you guys. Hold on. Turn it off. Turn it on. Really weird. Okay, it's not working. Maybe the camera's got kabutsy. Let's go to here. I'll show it to you over here. All right, so here we got a TMNT number 3 9.6 white pager. My overhead cam has gone kaput, so I don't know what's up with that. We have a 9.2 copy. Oh, freaking cracked. Another crack. Look at the giant crack there. Son of a gun. Raphael number 1 9.2 white pager. These magazines are I guess the second one that's come cracked in two shipments, which really sucks. So I'm gonna put that aside and do a form for that one. And then a 9.4 copy. No cracks on this one. No, doesn't look like it. Ninja Turtles number 4 and a 9.4. Nice book. So not so bad, but unfortunately a cracked slab has to go back to CGC. There it is. All right, so that's the books. One box. More boxes on the way, my friends. I'm telling you, tons and tons of boxes. Here's some news now. I think moving forward, only guys, and it's not because it's a greed thing. It's more of a time thing. I will press and clean 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, 4. I don't care. I'll press as little books as you want me to press, or as many books as you want us to press. When it comes to CGC, however, I think I'm going to put this on my website. Moving forward, I'm going to ask for a minimum of 3 books to go to CGC. The paperwork, guys, is horrendous. For just one comic, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Now, if it's a high value book, I'll do it. Like I'm doing a Fantastic Four number 1 right now. That's 1 book, no problem. That makes sense. But for, modern books or vintage books or whatever, I'm going to need, and it could be any tier. I don't care which tiers they're in. It could be a mixture of tiers, magazine, comic, whatever, but I'm going to ask for a 3-book minimum. It's just a lot of paperwork, and CGC is a lot of work. So that's what I'm thinking. Also, some good news as well. I don't know if maybe I can show you this. It'd be really cool if I could show you this. I don't think I can. I didn't set it up. Guess what? Go over to my website, comicdoctor.com. There's some changes that have been made. Now, there could be some glitches there, so if you do encounter any glitches, please let me know. But you're going to notice in the top right corner of my tabs is an order status button now. So now you can click on the button and you will get an order status. And that is going to be for any orders that are starting like now. Right, for any books that are starting, we're not going to go back and enter 200 orders. So for any orders that are being submitted as of like today and onwards, yeah, you can check your status. You can check your status at the Comic Doctor's office. Once the book's shipped to CGC, it'll say ship to CGC, and final stages, what have you. So you can keep track, and it'll even tell you the turnaround time, like the overall turnaround time, so you can actually keep track. Something I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. It is now done. And by the way, you don't have to, be a member or sign up for anything. You just go type in your 6-digit invoice number that you get from me, the Comic Doctor, on the Comic Doctor form, and it will all be there. Now, people are asking, can I check my status with CGC? I did not set it up to check the status at CGC. The reason I didn't bother was A, it's extremely expensive to have a programmer do that. Second, I have to have you sign up and do like login information. I didn't want to do any of that. And to be quite honest, once the books go to CGC, it's a 2, 3, 4 week wait. So just know that when the books are at CGC, you probably got 3, 4 weeks left to go. But when the books come back, it'll say ready for pickup or ready to ship or whatever. It'll have those types of status updates on there. So yeah, very happy about that. Anyways, who else is here? Let's see. Troy Tootie's here. Hey, Kevin, sorry I missed you at Hamilton Comic Con. I got sick Friday and I just started to feel better. Was it worth the drive down for it? I'm going to talk about that in just 1 second. Gord Henderson. Hey, Doc, currently playing in a dart league. Just checking in for a minute. No problem, Gord. Good luck. Keep focused. Swaggle Haas is in the house. How you doing, Swags? Good to see you. Wave right back at you. Good to see you. Eric Williams, does that apply if I'm sending under my account? I mean, I will always try to send 5 at least. Oh, under your own account? I don't care. If you're sending 1 book and it's under your own account, that's fine. Because it's going to send under your own paperwork, that's fine. But if it's under my account, I'm going to ask for like a minimum of 3. Luke says, did the con get better on Saturday? I'm going to talk about that right now. Brian, LCS. How you doing, Brian? How you doing? Okay, let's talk. So, you know what? Actually, it's funny, Swaggle Haas is here. I had a conversation with Mickey at San Diego Comic-Con, and I think a lot of guys have started talking about this. You know, it's the big thing. Our comic, and you know, it drives me crazy when these promoters call their events comic cons, because I'm going to tell you, my friends, these events are anything but comic cons anymore. They just are not comic cons. They're not comic book conventions like they used to be. I remember when I was, 15, 16, 17, and I was talking to somebody in Hamilton on the weekend about the comic cons of old. When I used to go to Toronto, my dad would drop me off at the Ontario College of Art and Design, and they would have comic cons in their main foyer there, and it was just comic books and comic book art, lots of comic book art. And that's all it was, comics. No Funko Pop, there were no Funko Pops, no toys, no miscellaneous, no cards, comic books. And those were true comic cons. San Diego is not a pure comic con. They were selling everything from t-shirts to Funko Pops to statues to baseball cards, not many video games, actually. My son was pretty upset about that. Trinkets, keychains, wooden craft items, you name it, 3D printed stuff, whatever. And in talking to Mickey, he himself was saying that in talking with a lot of the vendors, that it's every year less and less and less vendors are going to San Diego. Now, I'll tell you, going to San Diego for the first time myself back in August, listen, man, that was a fun Comic-Con. There were a lot of comics to look at, a lot of high-end books to look at, lots of books to still peruse. But I mean, were the comics 50% of the Comic-Con? No way. 20%? I'd still say probably not. I'd say probably 16% of that Comic-Con were comic book. Well, if you included the artists and stuff, maybe 18 to 20% of that con was comic book, or directly comic book related, with CGC or, with the different, like with not Tom McFarlane, with, what's his face? J. Scott Campbell had an outfit there, and Rob Liefeld, and whatever, Alex Ross, I think. So with all that stuff, then yeah, I guess maybe 18 to 20%, but it wasn't a Comic-Con like the old days. Now, people are asking me, how was Hamilton? Hamilton was atrocious. Hamilton was an absolute bust. There were two huge comic book vendors there. Vendors that you see at most every Comic-Con that you see in Southern Ontario in the GTA. They had big, setups and whatever, but that was it. In 2 floors, that was it. For me personally, I saw maybe 1 or 2 customers and clients that I know quite well and people I've dealt with in the past. But to be honest, a lot of my usual clientele did not come out to support this event. There were not a lot of comic book people there. In fact, most of the vendors I spoke to felt that it was not a very successful show. I'm going to tell you, the aisles were empty for most of the weekend, maybe a little busy on Saturday afternoon for about 2 hours, and then it just died. And then Sunday was absolutely atrocious. The celebrities left. Most celebrities were gone. Some celebrities left by 1 o'clock on Sunday. They weren't even there anymore. But for the most part, it ended, I think, at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock on Sunday. By 2:30, most of the celebrities had vamoose. They were gonzo. So it was a pretty abysmal turnout. I can't speak to everybody because I didn't talk to millions of people, but the 4 or 5 vendors that I know personally said they will not be doing Hamilton again, and it was not very successful for them. A real shame. I was really looking forward to Hamilton. I'd never been there for a Comic-Con, but again, it was not a Comic-Con. Stop calling these things Comic-Cons. They're not Comic-Cons. I think calling them a Fan Expo is actually more accurate, or a Nostalgia Fest or something, but it sure as hell wasn't a Comic-Con. What do you guys think? Jackson says Thunderbolt Strike. That's my son Jackson. Yes, it dropped yesterday, actually, Jack. And you know what? It looked pretty good. I'm actually looking forward to it. Dan says very disappointing. Sad to hear that. Yes, it was pretty. It was pretty crappy. I'm going to tell you. I'm now promote what I think is the best. If you're looking for comic books if you're a comic book fan and you're looking for comic books, going to the giant fan expos, let me just get my focus in here. Going to the giant fan expos or the comic cons or the comic cons as they call them is probably not the place to go. You want to go to the one-day regional shows. Those are the ones you want to go to. We had one. A local guy did one here in Oshawa a couple of weeks ago, and that was all comic books. This weekend on Sunday, the Toronto Comic Book Show was going to be at a new venue. People were asking me if I was going to be there at the Monte Casino Vaughan. That is 100% comic books, and it's going to have 80 vendors there. So it's going to be all comics. That's the place you want to go to. If you really want to go to a Comic-Con, you're going to be spending probably between $40 and $70 for a ticket to get in, and then you're going to be paying con prices, because I'm going to tell you, it's extremely expensive for vendors to set up at these bigger events. These 2 and 3 or 4 day events are crazy money. So for these vendors to go there, they're not going to be giving away their products for free. I know Bad Hombre was asking about prices being over the top. Yeah, a lot of guys do, but you know what? You can't blame them in some cases, because the sheer cost of going to these events is I spent probably close to $1,000 this weekend on hotel and food and expenses and blah blah blah. I lost this weekend. 100% I lost. You know, I advertised, I talked to very few people. That was what bothered me the most. It wasn't so much that I didn't get many submissions or that there were many comics there at all. There was no comics around me at all. The problem was no one was even talking to me. It was like no one was interested. No one cared about what comic pressing was or there. And in fact, I was talking to Bart Seals, the artist. He was downstairs. He came up and saw me. We had a good conversation. He was upset because he goes, I drove 5 hours to get here, and there's no comic book fans here. No one's buying my art. No one's asking for commissions. No one's even coming over and talking to me. And he's right. I went down to the artist area, and it was empty. Dan, one of my clients and buddies, was out there selling art. I don't think he sold anything on Sunday, not one piece. And his art was $10 for a beautiful print. No one bought anything off of him. So yeah, it was a very weird, and you know what's funny? Bart even said no one was asking about CGC for him. No one was there asking for signature series, nothing. It was like he said no one even knew what that even was. So I don't know. Again, it was like the Twilight Zone, guys. It was really, really strange. I'd never been, like, the same guy does Niagara, and I kind of like Niagara. I've never set up there, but I've been there to do signature series stuff, and it's always pretty buzzing, Niagara Falls. This one was very, very strange. Very, very, very strange. I don't know what to say. But, you know, call it a Comic-Con, I think I would change the name. Eric says, bad venue, terrible stuff. We had a local convention here, and the Sue is mixed, but always fun stuff, from old toys to comics to video games, for a smaller city, and nice mix. No real celebs, though, ever. Well, that's hard. Celebrities are very expensive. And that's funny. I can tell you a funny story about Lou Ferrigno, too, which... Anyways, I'll tell you that story in a second if you want to hear it. It was crazy. Eric says McGowan Fan Expo should be the proper term for these events. Agreed, or something along those lines. Collector Expo, again, you know, Nostalgia Fest, whatever you want to call it. But stop calling them Comic Cons, because I'm sad to say comics are becoming less and less and less prominent in these events, which really sucks. Which really, really sucks. Luke says, even Fan Expo felt like less. 100%. Even Fan Expo was getting, the comics are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so the comic area, I mean, is shrinking, right? And other stuff is starting to take over. Dannon says, perhaps in terms of the turnout, doing an event after Fan Expo when school is back probably wasn't smart on the promoters' end. Yeah, you know, times are tough. We talked about that before. You know, money's not flowing very easy for a lot of people. But Dan, what it was for me, it was like, it just didn't seem like there were any comic fans there. Like, I mean, if I was able to go to the Toronto Comic Book Show this Sunday, I would have been talking constantly with people, whether they're giving me books or not. We would have talked comics, because I know everybody, or I don't know everybody, I know a lot of people that are there. People come over and introduce themselves from the channel or whatever, and they want to talk. And so I'm kept busy talking for the whole, in Montreal. I talked constantly in Montreal. In fact, Fan Expo, I didn't stop talking at Fan Expo because comic fans came. But it just seemed like in Hamilton, there were no comic fans. Zero. Lots of cosplayers, but no comic fans. So Comic Con? No, stop calling it Comic Con. Was the celebs line easy to get through? Luke, the SIGs were gotten in like 20 minutes. Easy. In and out. And Eric agrees. Maybe it's a bad weekend, bad timing. Could be. Maybe the stars weren't aligned. I don't know. But it was very, very strange. Kaylin says the decline of the Comic-Con started in 2007 with the release of the Big Bang Theory TV show. It made geek culture mainstream and made non-comic people into the culture that don't like the books. Well, I'll tell you, I think that the Big Bang Theory did bring a lot of people, non-comic people, into the fold, right? Now, are these people that were watching Big Bang Theory finally saying, hey, man, I want to go to the local comic shop and start buying comic books? That's the thing. They may like comic culture. They might like the comic products that, say, Marvel's putting out or DC's putting out or whatever. They might like to play the video games, but are they reading the comic books? Are they going to the stores and collecting comics? I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't see a lot of newbies. Yeah, I don't see a ton of newbies coming to the shop looking for books. There are some, don't get me wrong. There are some younger people in their 20s coming to my shop and buying books, but not a whole hell of a lot. Most guys are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s looking to buy comics, and a few in the 70s too. But it's not like the Big Bang Theory kind of... what's the word I'm looking for? Inspired people to go start reading comic books. I don't think that happened. Lewis says, don't feel bad, bro. We like talking. Oh, thanks, Lewis. I appreciate it. But boy, oh boy, 4 or 5 hours sitting there, kind of twiddling my thumbs. For me, what was aggravating was I have so much work to do. And I was just talking to Dave about this. I am so behind on my invoicing, so behind on my CGC submissions. I've got books I'm working on here that I do a lot of the high-end books, guys. And so I'm behind on those. I'm like, so to spend 3 days, like it was Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, you get home Sunday, you just go to bed. 3 days gone, and then I close a shop down for a weekend too, which is not good because and I'll tell you, every weekend at the shop, I'm getting between 20 to 100 books every weekend. So it's like people are bringing books to the shop. They're coming by to say hi and drop off books, which is great. Do I even need to go to these cons? I do it to meet new people. And if I can go to Toronto, I know a lot of my clientele are in Toronto. So if I can go to the Toronto Comic Book Show, or I might start doing the Mississauga one too. I don't know, just to be there for people, because a lot of you guys like to go to those shows. If I can make a one-stop shop for you guys, make it easier for you guys, you have to drive out to Oshawa, then I don't have no problem doing that, right? That's why I'm offering the free shipping too, right? To kind of make things a little easier. Kaylin says, now, knickknacks and non-comic things rule the shows because the people that flood these things don't know comics. They just like the movies and the shows, just like I said. Trevor says, should have gone to the Legion the past weekend instead, Doc. Yeah, exactly what I was saying. It was all comic books. Eric also says Collectible Con has a nice ring to it. Yeah, I think so. Collectible Con. So I could only go to one comic show. Which one would you suggest? Troy, in a comic show in the GTA, I would recommend the Toronto Comic Book Show. I've been doing that show for 15 years, 12 to 15, yeah, about close to 15 years now. And you get the most comics there. And a lot of the good dealers show up there. That's where I would recommend. It's not expensive. It gives out free prizes. It's worth the drive. And it's not, it's $10 to get in. It's pretty cheap. Jive Turkey said, I left Niagara Comic Con this year. I texted my wife and asked her to hide my car keys if I try to go again next year. Blah. There it is, right? There it is. Blah. London was way better. London was the same. Not many comics. London was the same. Not many comic books. You had Capcan was there, who had a good setup. You had Forest City Comics that was there. I'm trying to think if anybody else was there. Purely comics. It was just Capcan Comics and Forest City. and Almar was selling like graphic novels. That's it. That's it. In term, there's a guy across from Almar selling comics, but he's also selling toys. But I'm talking exclusive comics at London. No, two guys, maybe 2 or 3 guys. That's it. You had Funko Pops, and again, you have like swords, neoprene swords, cosplay paraphernalia, that sort of thing. London was good because I had a ton of books that get signed for Eastman. That's why it was worth my while to go. And to be quite honest, I should have done the exact same thing. I should have drove to Hamilton on Saturday, did what I needed to do, and got the hell out. That's what I should have done. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do when it comes to the big cons now. I'm probably not going to get a table. It's way too expensive, and it takes, your whole week is gone. I'm too busy to sit there. So what I'll probably end up doing in future, and I'm learning, right, guys? I told you guys when I started doing Signature Series facilitating, I'm going to play it, try to see what it's like, kind of feel what it's like, and then go from there. I'm probably just going to do like one day, like a fan expo next year. I didn't buy a table. Their tables were stupid money. So I'm probably just gonna, tap one of my buddies in the shoulder to see if I can set up for just one afternoon. Like maybe I'll do Saturday, just Saturday from 9 till 7, and that's it. Do my Signature Series, take submissions, and then go home and be done with it. I'm not going back. That's probably what I'll end up doing. But again, time will tell. Todd, Ottawa has a couple of good comic-only single-day shows each year in October and May. Listen, Todd, I tell you, I was told that the Ottawa was great this year. So if I do full weekend shows next year, it's probably going to be Montreal again, because I really enjoyed Montreal. I just like the setup there. So I'll probably do Montreal again, and I'll probably do Ottawa, because I've been hearing great things about Ottawa. And I'm even thinking, call me crazy, I'm even thinking of going to Winnipeg or Calgary. I'm thinking of going out west, traveling a little bit. I have a lot of clients out west end. I'd love to meet, same as I did in Montreal. I got tons of guys out in Saskatchewan and Alberta that I'd love to meet, in Manitoba. So that might happen too, but we'll see, because it's expensive and flights are expensive and time again. But it'd be kind of like killing two birds with one stone, right? Going out there and not only doing the event, but actually looking around, because I've never been to some of these cities. So that'd be kind of fun. Eric says, we call ours NerdCon. NerdCon works. NerdCon's great. Please provide info, Todd. Gord says, come to Mississauga, please. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't know when the next one is. I got to look into it. We'll see. Doe Biddy says, I was at the show. It's not for readers or collectors. The guests are subpar and it has a flea market vibe. Yeah, it kind of did. Dannon says, just jump there. I love getting this information from you guys too. What do you think? Were you at Hamilton this year? Were you at London? Were you at Fan Expo? Even if you were in your own areas, if you're not from the GTA, if you're from like the States or from other parts of Canada, what are your cons like? Are they pure comic cons? Are they a lot of fun? Or are they kind of getting crappy? Are they kind of losing that luster they once had? Because I tell you, man, I think back to the 80s when I go to the comic cons, they were just magical almost. It was a lot of fun. And I'll tell you, even comic cons 10, 15 years ago were a lot of fun. They used to have one at the exhibition years and years ago, and that was a good con too. But anyways, let's keep going here. Dobity says, there are many, many high-profile artists and celebs that are local to the GTA. It's on the organizers to do some research and reach out to people. And I have been doing that. I'll tell you, I've talked to Ken Lashley, for example. We're working on him coming to the shop maybe around Christmas or New Year to do a private signing and to meet and greet with Ken. So that's happening. Probably. I have to talk to him. I didn't confirm anything yet, but we did chat at that Fan Expo, and he seemed very, very eager. Not eager, but open to the idea. And he lives in St. Catharines, I think. He's not far away. I met a couple of other artists at Hamilton that want to do something like that as well, too. So that's probably going to happen at some point. Jive Turkey says, anyone know of any good annual comic shows in the U.S.? I don't. And if any of you U.S. guys are out there, speak up. Whereabouts, Jive Turkey? Whereabouts are you in the U.S.? Skeletor's here, guys. Hey, what's up, Kevin? I'll be coming home tomorrow from Portugal. Might come by the shop this weekend to pick up my babies. Please let me know and book an appointment. I think your stuff's already to go in. I think I told you that, right? It's David, isn't it? Skeletor, is it Dave? I believe your books are ready. Dave says, anyone know the going rate for an ASM 309? So looking at one that claims it's never been cleaned or pressed, you're probably looking at around, 1,800? Am I wrong? 1,800? 1,900? I could be wrong. Go on eBay. Have a look. Lee Rogers, the Phoenix Comic Con fan fusion has less and less comics each year. The last one was about 1/4 comics, and the rest were voice actors, guest speakers, and artists row. There you go. Bad Hombre says 1,200 USD. Yeah, it was about 1,800 Canadian. That's about right, 1,600 Canadian. David Clark, I just watched con experiences on YouTube. That works. Lee Rogers, I do not go to Comic Cons for comic books, too expensive and no deals. I go to the signatures. I go get the signatures from the artists. That's a one place to go to get them. Dan says, doesn't Todd McFarlane go to Calgary Fan Expo? That'd be cool. He has. I don't think he goes every single year, but he does go. If I ever get to put together a show, I'd call it Con. That's not bad. Con. Spartacus. I am Spartacus. If you come to Winnipeg, would be glad to meet up. Spartacus, yes, I was talking to my buddy Alan. He does all the shows, all the big shows, and he wants to do Winnipeg. And he says, you come with me. And I'm like, oh boy. So, and the Winnipeg is sponsored by is run by the same guy who does Ottawa and Montreal. So we're talking. Jessica Mondello. Hey, how are you? Hey, gorgeous. Yeah, that's Carlo's wife, obviously. Hey, Carlo, pretty cool artwork you got there, buddy. Bad Hombre, CGC. Thought you tricked me there. I don't think so, pal. CGC though not raw. Raw don't pay more than 700 Canadian. Oh, for sure. If you have a really nice copy of an ASM 300, you don't want to pay more than 700 or 800 Canadian tops. Mech 15 says, back in the day, the books were everywhere for kids to get interested in. Gas stations, general stores, grocery stores, department stores. Now you have to go to a comic shop. You know, you're right. And I'll tell you, and I've said this before, I think one of the biggest problems with comics today is they're too damn expensive. First of all, you go to buy a comic book, it's what, $6.99, $5.99 for a comic book? What the hell? Here's an idea. Let's go back to paper. Let's go back to pulpy paper. Let's go back to newsprint, shall we? Let's get rid of all this magical plastic paper and these futuristic inks, and go back to covers that were we were talking about ASM 300, those kinds of covers, and let's drop the price of comics back down to $1.50 or $2 a toonie. Sorry, if you're Canadian, you know what I'm talking. If you're American, you know what I'm talking about. Toonies are $2 coin. But let's get away from $4, $5, $6. What kid can afford to buy a $6 or $7 comic book? Give me a frickin' break, right? Yes, they look pretty. Don't get me wrong. They look beautiful. Some of these books, they look like works of art. I agree. But no, print them out, print them on cheap paper so people can get back into it, and put them in corner stores and put them in gas stations and at the checkout at Walmart. Do all that. Yes, I agree with you 100%, but it's never going to happen, unfortunately. Winston, back in the 80s and 90s, the artist autographs to cons were free. That's right. Many celebrities were very free too. Lee Rogers, what I hate most about cons is that the real deals are done between the sellers who have booths hours before they even let. You know what, Lee? You're very right. I see it happening all the time. The dealers will set up their booths and they'll go off and they'll start making deals with each other. But you know what? Honestly, I've seen that has saved a lot of dealers. That has saved a lot of dealers. When it costs you $2,000 to rent the booth and you do $500 in sales in a day, and you got to pay for your dinner and your gas and all that other parking and all that other baloney. Sometimes those big deals that happen before the show or even after the show help. In fact, when I did Montreal, I wasn't going to bring books to sell, but Roy was really, bring some books, so I brought books to sell, and I ended up doing a pretty big deal with a Montreal dealer at the end of the show. And that kind of saved my ass in terms of the financials. So yeah, it does happen. But the good news is when those deals happen, it's not like these guys are keeping the books, right? They're going from one dealer's wall to another dealer's wall. So it's not like they're being kept from you. They're shifting from one dealer to another dealer. Eric says, Motor City Comic Con in Detroit is pure pop culture, a decent amount of comic book retailers, but nowhere near what it should be to be called a comic con. Thank you very much, Eric. but it's bounce there. Yes, you told me they're ready. Do I need an appointment? No, Skeletor, that's no problem. Come on in. They should be there. If I told you they're ready, they should be in the safe waiting for you, David. But, word of advice, this Saturday, I'm only there till 1 o'clock. I have to leave promptly at 1 because I have to drive out to go to a wedding in east. I got to go east. I got to drive about an hour east. So I've got to leave the shop at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Kaylin, what is your best experience meeting a writer artist at a con? Wow, that's a good question. Who was it? Who would I have liked? You know what? I'll be honest. When I met Ken Lashley the first time 2 years ago, we spent a lot of time just shooting the shit about the industry and stuff, and that was very informative. And just talking to Bart Sears on the weekend, this past weekend, was really cool. I talked to him in his booth, and he came up to the comic area, and he saw that I was a CGC guy, and he goes, "Hey!" And we talked for a good 20 minutes about the state of Comic Cons, and that was pretty cool too. I mean, I've never been out for dinner with anybody, or had long conversations with them. I like when there's time to talk to them about their experiences, what got them into the industry, how the industry's changed, that sort of thing. I love that. I also love meeting artists from out of the country. Like I met an Argentinian artist. That's who I bought the art from. I haven't posted the art yet that I bought on. I did buy some art on Sunday. I will put pictures up. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet on my Instagram. What was his name? His name's escaped me now. I bought some Superman pages off of him. That's kind of cool. And I met some a couple years ago at Fan Expo. Just those guys from out of the country are pretty cool to talk to as well. I don't have any great stories to tell, and I don't think I have any great celebrity stories to tell either. The only celebrity story I think I could tell is when my kids met that dude from Stranger Things. Eddie Munson, is that his name? I don't know. He's playing the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four. That actor had just come off of Stranger Things, and that was the last show my daughter was interested in going to because of him. And my son was very excited to meet him too. And I remember lining up to go meet them. So I was with my kids, and then as we got closer to the booth, he saw my son. Jack was it's like 4 years ago. He was like what, 9, 10. So when Jack saw him, his eyes lit up, and he saw Jack, and and Jack's pretty cute, and so he's like, oh, and you could see he was like, oh, this kid's coming in, and he was just very gracious with my kids, and he was very excited with them, and to see how excited they were, that was pretty cool. And he was very nice to them, and even just gave him an extra 20, 30 seconds of his time because he was really busy. That was really nice. And actually, you know what? I'm going to give Ray Park a shout out as well this year. When I was in Montreal, my witness and I were upstairs waiting to get signatures done with Ray Park, and I was actually helping the volunteers in Montreal, directing the people away. So I'll help you guys because I'm not witnessing. My witness is witnessing, so I just kind of stood there and kind of directed people away. But I was really close to Ray Park. I was like maybe 5 feet from his table, and I was watching everybody go through and give him his stuff. And this 18 or 19-year-old girl and her friends came over, and they gave him some stuff to sign, and he saw that she had a lightsaber tucked in. She goes, "What's that?" And she goes, "Oh, it's a lightsaber I bought from downstairs, like from Saber Effects Sabers or whatever." And she goes, "Oh, it's a cheap one. It was only $100. So can I see it?" And he says yes, and he takes it out. He goes, "Can I sign it?" And her eyes just, "Oh my God." He goes, "I'd love to sign this for you." And he didn't charge her for that, which was cool because, and he signed her lightsaber, and she almost started crying. And it was actually kind of moving, actually. Just the way he was so nice to her. It was really cool. You don't see that too often. Most of them just want to get their money and get you moving. But he actually took the time with these girls and made their day. And he looked over at me, and I kind of gave him a nod like, "Yeah, good work, buddy," and that was kind of nice. So yeah, but I know I never had a long time. I've never had an opportunity to sit and talk with anyone for a long period of time. It's just too damn busy, right? But seeing things like that, when I see the human side of these people, that's what I like. I don't like when they have these airs about them, like they're superior or they're better. I don't like. I don't care if you're a celebrity or a human being. I like to see that side of you. I don't want to see this, Anyways. I won't get into that. Sam, will you be taking submissions for CGC's up and coming events like, oh yeah, anytime you want. Guys, I'm always taking submissions for any Signature Series event that's happening at CGC. So what you got to do is go to CGC, click on their Signature Series in-house events, and you got to see what the deadlines are. If the deadline, for example, is October 31st, you want to get the books to me. If you want them pressed especially, you want to get the books to me about 3 to 4 weeks before that due date so I can get them done and shipped there with plenty of time. Like right now, I'm sending in the books for J. Scott Campbell. We're almost done those. They're all going to be going out next week. Lee, Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo did one signature for a piece for free at the last Phoenix Fan Fusion Con for the first 200 people who went to their table. I don't know why they need to charge anything. These guys are millionaires, but that's just me. To be quite honest, I don't understand if I can't see as to why. Like Rosario Dawson came to Fan Expo this year. I think she's doing pretty good financially, wouldn't you think? I'd be embarrassed if I was her to ask people for $200 or $150 for a signature. I'd be embarrassed. I personally couldn't do it. If I was famous and I had millions of dollars stashed away, I'm going to go to some Fan Expo in Toronto where people are lining up, sweating and hot and crowded and anarchy, and to add insult to come and see me, to come and spend time to see me, to get a picture with me or to get my signature, and I'm going to charge them $150. That's embarrassing. To me, that's I have a real problem with that, man. I have a real problem with that. Now, if the guys asking for the signature are dealers like me, who are going to get their books back to their clients, and perhaps their clients are going to sell those books, then okay, yeah, sure, charge. But most people that are going to Fan Expo are not getting those signatures because they want to flip the book. They're getting it because they absolutely love the work that these people, they're fans, they're true fans. So how you can ask a true fan for more money after they've supported you, they've dressed like you, they've gone to all your movies, they promote you word of mouth because they love your work. How can you have the right? I don't know. How do you? Like I saw Mark Hamill's now charging $400 US. Come on, Mark. Like seriously, dude, that's just disgusting. Either don't offer signatures, or if you're going to offer signatures, do it for free. Or if you're going to charge, give every single penny to charity, to some charity. I don't care what the Humane Society, cancer research, diabetes, whatever. Give it to that's what Robert Downey Jr. did. He was charging $800 US a signature at CGC about 4 years ago. Every penny, I was told, every penny went to charity. And that when I heard how much he was charging, I'm like, what? But then, yeah, he actually gave the money to charity. So that's a different story. Eric, kids are spending $15 to $20 a day on Tim's to be under Uber driven to school for them. Yeah, I get you, Eric. You're right. I get that. I get it. I get it, but still, I don't know. Hey, I don't want to pay $7 a book myself. I'd rather pay $2. I'll tell you, if the books were back to what they used to be, I'd probably buy books to read myself. New books. Just had a commercial pop up. Well, there it is. The Marvel True Believers line from a few years ago was a huge missed opportunity. They could have put those in Walmart. They were $1 a pop and had reprints of classic stories that can bring people in. Yeah, I agree. Those I used to love Marvel Saga. I used to love Marvel Universe. I used to, all the reprints that they used to put Marvel Tales. I used to buy all that. I used to read all those. I loved them. Yeah, they were great. B12 Media says, I bet the reason no one chatted with you at the Hamilton Con is because you frightened them. Well, thanks a lot, man. How do you mean I frightened them? What are you trying to say? Am I that intimidating? Dan, am I that? It wasn't Fright Fest, right? It was Hamilton Comic Con. There's been a few artists that have been busted for using AI for some DC covers. It's definite. Oh boy. It's definitely coming. Yeah, probably. Hey, Brouhaha, how's it going? Been a while. Did many clients get... Okay, here we go. I'll talk about Lou Ferrigno. Let's look at Lou Ferrigno. So, yeah, Lou Ferrigno, I got him. I was the first one to see him on Saturday morning. Got all my signatures done. His handler was extremely rude. I was putting out all the... By the way, there was no one there. My witness and I were there. And I start putting all the comics out to get signed. And she's like, it's, this much money. She starts asking, this is how much you owe. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put the comics out for him to sign. No, we don't sign before you pay. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. There's like nobody here behind me. There's no lineup. And he's just watching quietly as I kind of not fight with this woman, but kind of put her at ease. So I ignored her. I started putting the comics out nice for her. And I said, how much is it? And then I sat there, I went, gave her the money. He signed, and that was it. And then every so often I'd walk over, and I'll be honest, Lou was not busy at all. At all. And Bart Seal told me that they all stayed at the Sheraton Hotel across the way. And he said at the bar that night, at the restaurant, a lot of the celebs and artists were complaining how poorly attended the venue was. But what really is aggravating about this whole Lou Ferrigno thing is, and you know what? I'm done with these guys now. I contacted his handler. He's got an actual agent, I guess. He shares the same agent. Oh, my wrist is sore. He shares the same agent as Ray Park and a few other guys. And I've reached out to this guy, I don't know how many freaking times. And the dude gives me the biggest runaround. Like, seriously. Never answers quickly, cryptic responses, never finalizing anything. So I knew that he was coming to Hamilton. And I said, listen, I got an idea. So I reached out to him. I have a great idea. I think a lot of people would love to have a one-on-one with Lou Ferrigno. You know, he's not getting any younger. I don't know how much longer he's going to do these events for. And he still has a following. And you know, people at a con don't have an opportunity to talk to somebody really because they're kind of rushed. I said, and I experienced that whole dinner thing over at Niagara Falls about 4 years ago, where I had dinner with who was it? George Perez. I had dinner with George Perez, and me and about 40 other guys, and it kind of sat in this little room, and they catered it. They brought us food after the dinner. During the dinner, he was telling stories. Then once the dinner was over, Jim Starlin walks in, and then he signs 2 or 3 of your comics for free, and then he takes a picture with you, and off you go. And you had an evening with George Perez. And when he came to the table, you had an opportunity to ask questions, talk to him for a few moments anyways. And it wasn't, you didn't feel rushed like you would at a con, right? Where there's a lineup, maybe there's lots of people around, it's crowded, it's not very comfortable. So I figured, what a great opportunity. And I thought, how about this? I said, why don't we do pizza with Lou? He's Italian, right? There's a couple of really nice restaurants here in Oshawa, believe it or not, and some private rooms. I could rent the room out for the night or book the room. Not to rent anything, just book the room, order a bunch of pizza for everybody, and have Lou Ferrigno come in. And maybe you do 2 sittings, do like a 6 o'clock sitting and an 8 o'clock sitting, and have 50 people and 50 people, or 70 people and 70 people with pizza and pop, or maybe a couple of beer, and give them a microphone. Lou can tell some stories, answer some questions in a very intimate way, and then everybody gets a couple of signatures. That's guaranteed. Everyone gets a couple of signatures, whether it be a comic book or a toy or whatever, and a picture and food. And I thought that's a much more intimate, cool. I said, we could do that in Oshawa. He could finish up in Hamilton. And I even said, you know what? I can adjust his flight. I'll pay for that. I'll pay for his hotels here in town. I'll pay for his transportation to get here. And that way he's guaranteed a good sum of money at the end of his stay here in the greater Toronto area. Because I tell you, he did not make a lot of money in Hamilton. That's for damn sure. So I wrote to his agent, kind of said, well, we're not sure if it's going to work with his last line was, we're not sure if it's going to work with his contract, his current contract. And that's cool. That makes total sense, right? You can't have you got to sign a non-compete probably, right? Maybe he's not allowed to do that within so many days after an event. That's totally cool. But what maybe kind of upset me a little bit is he says that and then doesn't follow up. Doesn't write me back. So I talked to Lou Ferrigno, and I was like, well, I talked to so-and-so, your agent. He goes, oh, yeah. I go, I've been trying to get a hold of him and get a hold of you. And he's like, oh, just keep trying. He says, Lou Ferrigno says to me, just keep trying. Well, you know what, Mr. Ferrigno, I am not going to keep trying. I'm done. I'm done with you and your friends and your agents, because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. When you ask somebody to collaborate and to work on a business proposition, and they just kind of treat you like you're nothing or nobody. Nah, tired of it. Anyways, that's my Lou Ferrigno story. I just kind of chuckled as I walked by, because I guarantee he didn't sign more than, if he signed 20 people's autograph, I'd be shocked. If he signed 20 autographs on Sunday, I'd be shocked. If he signed 20 on Saturday, I'd be shocked. I don't think he signed even more than 20 total, including what I gave him. I think I gave him more than anybody. Anyways, Kalen, you know who was busy, though, to answer your question? Sergeant Slaughter was busy. The wrestler. The wrestlers were really busy. Sergeant Slaughter especially. He was really, really busy, and he was really, really nice to the fans, and everyone who met him said he was fantastic. So that was kind of good to hear. Kalen says, it's not the celebrity. A lot of the time, it's the con that makes the price true. Eric says, Mark Hamill charged $400 for a cig at Chicago Fan Expo, and he can keep it, because I would never pay him that. I agree. Also, who pays $200 for Rosario Dawson? 20. Guarantee you make more money at the price point. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Bad hombre. Who? Lee Rogers. You should talk to Jim Lee. He charges $100 a pop. Not bad. Jim would be great. But again, to bring these guys here, I talked to Capullo when he was in Niagara Falls. He will not go anywhere if he's not given like 20 grand. He needs 20,000. He will not leave his house without $20,000. So yeah, a con will pay him 20 grand to make an appearance. And when I saw Capullo at Niagara Falls last year, he wasn't even that busy. So I don't know. I don't get it. Hey, Dan and Percy, Jim Lee was very cool as a person, but it cost you to meet him. He only showed up to sign the comics or things that paid for, then he left. Just to set the record straight, many of the artists at the last Fan Expo in Phoenix would sign the first few books for free. After that, it cost about $5 per comic. Well, at Fan Expo here in Toronto, they would charge you like $15 or $20, but if you're getting it graded, they charge you $40 or $60. They jack the price up. Why do they care if it's going to be graded or not? And again, it goes back to fans. Most guys don't want to sell their books. They just want and they might want them graded. So why are they charging a premium if you're getting the books graded? It's stupid. Why do you care what they're doing? Just take your $40 and be done with it. Good first impressions to start off the con. Yeah. JR, like I said, he is a jerk. JR, who's a jerk? I didn't see who he said is a jerk. Did I miss something? Who's a jerk, JR? Did you say it earlier, or did you tell me on Facebook or something like that? Oh, Lou. Okay, thanks. Maybe work with Ken Lashley. He's pretty good. Yeah, Ken's a good dude. He's a very nice guy. And yeah, I'll probably just do that. Going to pay 80 for George Takei, Sigano. That's not $80 for George Takei. It's not bad. Under 100. It's got to be under $100. When you start going over $100, like, come on, man. No offense to Mr. Frigno. I mean, he was the Hulk, okay, the first Hulk. He was a world heavy, what do you call it, bodybuilding champion. Okay, I get it, that's good, but his career's been, there's no real entertainment involvement in 30 years, you know, and his price just keeps going up and up and up and up, and no one's going to his table. So I don't know. Kalen says, he says, Jared says Lou was a jerk. Okay, I don't know if he's a jerk. He wasn't a jerk to me when I talked. He seemed like a nice enough guy, but again, he whatever, it is what it is. I'm not impressed with their people. I don't think, and I'll be honest, even like, what's his name? J. Scott Campbell. I reached out to his people 2 years ago. They were so rude. They were so rude. I could not believe it. You know, I know that the Toronto Comic Book Show was thinking of bringing in a pretty big name person. So I started investigating and researching it. And I even introduced myself, who I am, what I've done for the last 15 years, who I'm working with. And we're inquiring about Mr. Campbell and his appearance fees and what he requires and blah, blah, blah. They just rude. They brush you off like you're a nobody. You know, and I tell you, I met J. Scott Campbell in San Diego. You know, I told you that he's buddies with someone I knew there, and I met him, and I didn't tell off his girlfriend, but I kind of let her know how rude his handlers were. So I don't know if she recognized me when I was because I met her there in San Diego. I'm like, well, I wonder, I had my logo on. I wonder if she knew who I was. But I was like, I'll let him know. You know, do you realize who's representing you, making you look like a real asshole? Are these people you hire? What's up with that? Like, you know, they don't have to be that way. Lou was kind of, was he in King of Queens? Yeah, I didn't watch that show. Ever talked to Roger Stern? He's one I'd really like to meet. I have not. I did the Jim Lee experience at Fan Expo in 2017. It was worth every penny. Did you have dinner with him? Oh, I think you told me about that. Was it a dinner in the whole 9 yards? Because that's what it was in Niagara Falls with George Perez. I met Jeremy Renner at a con, and he was one of the nicest people you could ever meet. That's great. I like to hear that. I've heard he's a good dude, actually. Gotham guy says, I paid $80 for a Sting autograph, Stockton Con. Sting, like the singer Sting? Not back as it was appearance following his retirement match. Oh, retirement match. Who am I missing something here? Sting. If it's Sting, who I think it is, that's pretty amazing. Anyways, guys, there you go. Listen, I hope you sure enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. We talk about stuff like this all the time. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and join us. And if you are interested in having your books pressed and clean, now is not a bad time to do it, to do a submission. The turnaround time still around 2 to 4 months. We are working right now on mid to late August books. We're getting to Fan Expo books pretty soon. All the Fan Expo books that were signature series are at CGC. They should be starting to come back pretty soon. What else can I tell you? These books here, I will organize. If you saw some of your books today or last week, I will organize these. I'll contact you sometime next week to arrange a pickup. Again, I'm at the shop this Saturday from like 10:30 till 1. I'm getting out of there sharp. If you're in the shop at 1, I'm going to kick you out because I got to go because my wife will, if I don't get to where I need to go on time. So anyways, guys, again, thanks so much for popping by. A couple more comments here. Oh, the wrestler. Okay, I see what you're saying. Michael Rooker broke my buddy's Darth Maul saber, but signed 8 things for him for free. Well, that's fair, I suppose. The wrestler, thank you for clearing that up. Todd says, I got a double sig with George Takei and William Shatner on a Star Trek 1. Not going to lie, I felt awkward getting that second sig. Would not want to be stuck in an elevator with both of them. No, that would be very awkward, but kind of fun. Scotty Young seems like he's everywhere. Wonder how easy it would be to get him out to Oshawa. Listen, it's about the price, guys. It's how much it's going to cost. Like, I mean, if these guys are big, if the bigger the name, the more they're going to charge. If they're Canadian, it's going to be a lot easier. I talked to Ramon Perez over at the Raid Studio in Toronto. They got to represent a lot of artists work out of that studio. I've been in talks with him to set something up as well. And that looked promising. So we'll see. I'll communicate with Ramon as well, too. Maybe I'll do an appearance at the Raid Studio or have some of those artists come to Oshawa. That's possible. I'm totally open to that. And hoping to do more of that in the future. Thanks. Have a good night, Dave. Take it easy. Todd Boyce, please check your, I sent you an image of your shipping label. Please make sure that everything is good. I'm going to ship your books out tomorrow. What else could I tell you? Night Doxia, Eric, Adam, Washington Lee, draw for an hour, photo, 3 signatures, and a signed poster. Not bad. Getting my Mick Foley comic signed next Wednesday in person. We'll let you know how he is. Thanks, Trevor. All right, guys, that's it for me. Have a great night. We'll see you again very soon right here on the Comic Doctor YouTube channel. I guarantee there'll be another box ready to go next Tuesday because I believe there are boxes en route as we speak. Bye, GTA lady. See you guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.